money. Thank you.
Todd McLeay.
Mr. Speaker, this is a particularly bad piece of legislation. What the Green Party are trying to do is fix a problem that doesn't exist. Now, Mr. Speaker, I get that they don't like casinos. And I think they don't like them because people have a choice to go there and have fun should they want to. This is all the only part of our legislation around police force that the Greens seem to be in favour of is when you get the fun police out to look at normal New Zealanders who are choosing to have fun in their recreational times, and the Greens want to stop this. You see, this bill only covers casinos. And what the Greens are saying is that criminals that may gain revenue for themselves through illegal actions only go to casinos to use them. And I would challenge that, because if the author of this bill really was concerned about this issue, it would include New Zealand Lotto, and it would include the TAB, and it would include many other places that non-law-abiding citizens, criminals, can go and spend their ill-gotten gains. You see, Mr. Speaker, this is nothing worse than political grandstanding of the very worst type. In fact, the worst type of political grandstanding I've seen since I came to this House 4 years ago. And I would say to you, Mr. Speaker, I believe that the author of this bill is wasting the House's time with this legislation. There are already things that deal with this, and they deal with it for all companies in New Zealand that are involved with any type of financial transaction. But of course, criminal proceeds, an act that went into place in 2009, already deals with this, and therefore casinos are covered by that piece of legislation. Casinos themselves have special legislation in New Zealand around host responsibility, a host responsibility program. This isn't them only choosing to do this by themselves. Actually, the host responsibility program comes about because the current legislation that provides for casino licences demands it. And I believe that casinos take this extremely seriously, because if they don't, they put their licence to operate a casino at risk in this country. We also have the Anti-Money Laundering and Counterfeit Financing Terrorism Act, which went through the Foreign Affairs Committee in the last term of Parliament when I was a member of that committee. And that piece of legislation does a number of things. It says to all businesses in New Zealand who are involved with financial transactions, and therefore that includes casinos, that when there is activity that would deem to be unusual or different, or over a certain threshold, $6,000 in some cases, $10,000 in others, they must keep records, they must get extra information from the person conducting that transaction, and they must be assured that the funds that are being used are done so appropriately and have not been gained through terrorism or through money laundering or through ill-gotten gains. So already we have legislation in place to cover this, Mr. Speaker. I come back to what I said earlier. The Green Party don't like casinos because everyday New Zealanders have the choice to go there and enjoy themselves, and we will be voting against this legislation because it adds absolutely nothing at all. It doesn't fix any problem at all, and if the Green Party was serious about this, they actually would have spent some time researching the issue and coming more forward with things that actually might help, rather than saying we're going to beat up on an industry in New Zealand that this House has said is legitimate and has a right to be there, that employs so many thousands of New Zealanders up and down the country, does play an important part in our economy, does have safeguards placed upon it. This bill does absolutely nothing at all, and I'll be very happy to vote against it shortly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
If there is no other speaker, the member in reply, Materia Ture.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank all of those parties and members who have spoken in support of